a number that now stands close to our entire utility-scale generation fleet. And this was not the result of a subsidy program or a 5-year plan drawn up in this city. It was a result of millions of independent decisions by households, by farmers, by factory owners, by shopkeepers who are trying to stay competitive or who wanted energy from a cheap source. This is, in the truest sense, a people-led energy transition. And it tells us something important. When technology becomes affordable and the incentive is clear, Pakistanis do not wait for the government. They act. That is a strength. However, it is also a governance challenge because the grid that it was designed for one-way power flow is now absorbing power from hundreds of thousands of rooftops at times and in volumes that were never planned for. Daytime demand on our grid is falling. Evening demand remains stubbornly high. We are living in real time the classic duck curve that utilities elsewhere spent a decade preparing for. We are living it now at scale largely unplanned. So let me be very direct about where we stand. Pakistan does not have a generation problem anymore. In many hours of the day, we have a surplus. What we have is a flexibility problem. The inability to move abundant midday solar energy into the evening peak. I would be doing this audience a disservice if I discussed energy security today only in domestic terms. Over the past several months, the conflict between Israel, Iran, and the United States has once again reminded the world how quickly energy markets can be shaken by events far outside a country's own borders. Oil price volatility, shipping risk through the Strait of Hormuz, and uncertainty in the global fuel markets are not abstract concerns for policymakers in Washington or Riyadh. For a country like Pakistan, which still imports the bulk of the fuel that runs a large share of our thermal fleet, they are a direct threat to our fiscal stability and our people's cost of living. This is precisely why I keep returning to one point in every forum I address. Every unit of electricity that we generate from an indigenous source is a unit that no foreign conflict, no shipping lane, or no currency shock can take away from us. Solar and wind are, first and foremost, sovereignty assets. Battery storage is what makes them dispatchable sovereignty assets. Available not only when the sun shines, but when our people need them most. A real-world stress test is that we underwent in April when RLNG supplies from Qatar were disrupted and we had to revert to load shedding during the night time, but daytime was adequate due to solarization. So when we talk of battery energy storage systems today, we are not simply talking about a grid balancing technology. We are talking about insulating Pakistan's economy from a volatile world. That is the strategic lens through which the government now views energy storage. Ladies and gentlemen, let me put a number on this ambition because targets matter. Pakistan's electricity mix today already draws close to 55% of our generation from clean sources. Hydropower, nuclear, wind and solar combined, including the surge in distributed rooftop energy capacity that our people have installed. That is a stronger starting point than many countries far more industrialized than we are. Our target under this government is to take this figure to 90%. clean energy by 2035. That is not a slogan for a conference banner. It is a trajectory we are actively planning for in generation, in transmission expansion, and most critically in the storage and flexibility infrastructure that this conference exists to advance. I want to be very candid with this audience. You cannot get from 55 to 90% on the back of variable renewables alone. Every additional gigawatt of solar and wind we connect without a matching investment in storage makes our grid harder, not easier to balance. Decarbonization without flexibility is not a strategy. It is a bottleneck waiting to happen. Storage is what converts an ambitious target on a slide into an operable, bankable, and a very deliverable plan. If the first chapter of Pakistan's clean energy story was written by our people through solar, the next chapter must be written by all of us, the government, regulators, industry, and financiers, through storage and flexibility. Battery storage allows the grid operators the necessary flexibility to integrate high share of renewables through the various use cases it offers. Put simply, without storage, our solar success risks becoming a curtailment problem. With storage, it becomes a national asset. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a second dimension to this conversation that I want to place squarely on today's agenda: indigenization. It is not enough for Pakistan to become a large importer of foreign manufactured batteries in the way we have historically been a larger importer of foreign fuel. If we simply replace an oil import bill with a battery import bill, we will have moved the dependency, not removed it. Our ambition, therefore, is broader. We want to see local assembly of battery packs and enclosures. We want Pakistani engineers designing and integrating these battery energy systems, not just installing imported ones. We want our universities to produce human resource which can service, maintain, and eventually manufacture these systems domestically. We want Pakistani firms present in battery management software, in system integration, and in engineering, procurement, and construction services, so that the value of this transition is captured here, not only in the country that manufactures the cells. Keeping this in view, the Ministry of Industries is in the process of formulating a best local manufacturing policy, which will soon be finalized and will incentivize the local production. Let me now turn from vision to action. We have established a National Steering Committee on Battery Energy Storage Systems, which I chair myself, bringing together the regulators, the transmission and distribution companies, and technical experts to give this sector coordinated national direction. Under it, a technical working group is identifying priority best applications across our transmission and distribution networks, and a regulatory working group is developing the market mechanisms and commercial frameworks that will give investors the confidence to commit their capital. We have approved pilot battery energy storage projects within our distribution companies, rail projects on rail feeders, generating rail operational data that will inform how we regulate this sector at scale rather than legislating in the abstract. We are also working deliberately towards a national BESS framework, one that will, for the first time, give this industry the long-term regulatory certainty it needs. Clear rules on standards and safety, clear rules on grid connection, and a clear pathway toward valuing the services that storage provides to the system, not merely the electricity it stores. None of this, the pilots, the policy, the standards, the manufacturing base we hope to build, can be delivered by government alone. To our development partners in this room, we need your technical expertise and your guidance. To our investors and technology providers, Pakistan offers you one of the fastest growing distributed energy markets anywhere in the world, and a government that is moving to give you the regulatory clarity we have asked for. To our own industry and engineering community, this is your moment to build something Pakistan can manufacture, not merely import. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of Pakistan's solar transition was written by our people before it was written by policy. I do not intend for the story of storage and flexibility to repeat that pattern of government catching up after the fact. We are working through the committees, the pilots, and the policy now taking shape to be ready ahead of this curve this time, not behind it. In a region where energy security can be shaken by a conflict thousands of miles away, the most resilient thing Pakistan can do is build an energy system that depends less on the world's turbulence and more on our own sun, our own engineers, and our own storage. Before I close, let me congratulate the organizers for convening this platform and especially thank the international delegates for traveling to Pakistan to share their experience and deliberate on this important subject. I do not see this conference as a ceremonial occasion. I see it as a working session. Over these 2 days, your panel discussions, your breakout sessions, and your sideline chats will surface recommendations on battery energy systems, flexibility markets, on regulatory reform, on decarbonization, and on mobilizing capital. And I genuinely look forward to receiving those recommendations. They will feed directly into our work in progress. This government does not want a report that sits on a shelf. We want the honest, sometimes uncomfortable conclusions this room will reach, so that our policy reflects the real state of this sector, not merely our aspirations for it. That is the Pakistan we are building. I very much look forward to building it together with all of you. Thank you.